I've been with so many bishops and reverends also in the mosques. We have held activities in the mosques.
Right.
We've had exchanges
Yeah.
amongst ourselves. They've visited mosques and we have visited churches. And this has been going on for quite a very long time.
Mhm.
And no sign of tension happened there. What happened a day before yesterday was very unfortunate, but again, we can say it as it is. We only have political tensions.
So there's tension and it's political.
It's political
Period.
tensions.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another episode of Victors with Victor, and we want to welcome you to today's panel. I am really honored to have, as having grown up in Kibera and a young person from Kibera, concerned about the issues that affect Kibera slum as a whole and the young people. I am very honored to have on the panel some of the prominent leaders, religious leaders from Kibera. And so without saying much, I would like to introduce to you our panel. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
Yes. So tell us your name and let our audience know who you are.
Good afternoon to all our audience. My names are Sheikh Yusuf Nasur Abu Hamza. I am an imam at Jide Mosque, which is located in DC area in Kibra. And I also head a peace organization that is the Muslim Center for Peace and Reconciliation based here in Kibra. But above all, also at the national level, I work at the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims as the Director for Religious Affairs in Nairobi. I live and grew up in Kibra. I was born in Kibra, specifically at the DC area. That is where my mom, who passed on 2 years ago, we used to stay there, and that's where our home is. I've grown to see Kibra metamorphosing in how it is now, because obviously I grew up in the 70s. Kibra was very much different. I went to school here in Kibra. I went to secondary school in Nairobi because I was in day school. I never went to boarding, going and coming back to Kibra in the evening. We used to commute those days, and life was, it wasn't very difficult, I can say, but it wasn't easy though, because those days we had few transport, and the transport system was not very well like now. So we went to school nevertheless, and I also attended madrasa here in Kibra. Before later on, I went to university to do my studies in Islamic religious, and came back again working in Kibra still up to now.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, viewers. I'm Reverend Samuel Ahoga. I minister with the Pentecostal Assemblies of God, Kenya, just opposite Olympic Estate. And I was born in Vihiga County. We are neighboring Nandi County. I schooled in Nandi County, a school known as Kapkarera Primary School. Later on, I joined Givogi High School. And after finishing my O-level, I came to Nairobi to seek a job, but unfortunately, I was caught up with a call from God. Is when I went back to Pentecostal Bible College, that is in Kisumu headquarters, where I pursued diploma in theology, and I graduated in the year 2006. Later on, I was posted in the same county, Vihiga, where I served there 6 years. Then I was transferred to Nairobi in Kibera. My first church was called Langata PAG. It is just down to opposite with the Lindi Mosque, where I served there 5 years. Later on, I was transferred to Olympic, where I am now. I've served there 10 years. And in Kibera, I've served 16 years. And I want to thank God because of the slum ministry. It has really edified me. And there are so many things that we've been coming across. Some of the challenges that need religious leaders to chip in so that they can assist where necessary. I want to say thank you for this time, and we are ready to share what we have.
Thank you very much. So as you can tell, this is a story of Kibera by Kiberians. A decade is not a short time for Pastor Auga to have ministered here every single day, 365 for 10 years. So he really understands the modality and a lot of things that are going on in Kibera. Sheikh Yusuf has been here since he was a young kid.
Yeah.
So we're really honored to have you here, Sheikh Yusuf, and also to be able to speak for Kibera. We've seen a lot of stories on the media, and a lot of people have said a lot of things. And there's been something that I just learned from Sheikh Yusuf today that's called street talk, and it's going around. So I think it's very important that it comes from the people themselves and not people who come to gather content or tell stories as they want to tell them. So Sheikh Yusuf, you talk about the metamorphosis of Kibera since the 70s till today. What are the highlights that you can say have really caught your attention, or some of the concerns or some of the things that you pride yourself in as a Kiberan?
In terms of pride, I think we have a lot to share because where we are currently as Kibera, we can appreciate that we have moved on very well. One thing is that the population have outgrown itself. We had a very small population during those days, but at least now the population is very big. And again, administratively, Kibera is much better now because the government is near. Our voices are now being heard. Unlike those times when we hardly had any source of information in the first place. Kibera, it being from its history, because the history of Kibera, this was a military area, military zone. So it remained so for so many years. Even when we were growing up, it still looked like an area that was not so much in terms of inhabitants, in terms of people settling here. So the area for a very long time used to be on its own. Unlike areas of Islands, we saw Islands how it grew. People in Islands, we used to joke those days that they knew so much earlier than us because like in Kibera, we did not have. So I can appreciate that we've seen generations in Kibera, and compared to any other area in Nairobi, Kibera is much better in terms of livelihood, because still in Kibera people survive even with very little amount. It's not difficult to live in Kibera. Still in Kibera also, the distance to the major administrative areas in the city and elsewhere is still affordable, or a distance that people walk. It's only in Kibera that people can walk to industry area, people can walk to town, people can walk to where they're going. And that is one thing that I appreciate so much, because people live so far away. Zimmerman, Kasarani, Githurai, those people cannot afford to walk to work, unlike people of Kibera who can afford to work. So that has been one of the major areas that has made Kibera to grow the way it is. Because
so accessibility.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Sheikh. So I'll come back to you, but Pastor Huga, like I said, the street talk. And since yesterday, we cannot deny there's been tension since Monday, actually. Would you say that first of all, do you agree that there is tension around Kibera?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you agree that there is tension, would you say it's a political or religious tension?
One, the tension comes up, especially when the two political parties, they don't agree on given issues. The problem we are having now is because of what we talk of mandamano. And according to our constitution, it is very clear, we cannot deny it. It is one of our rights. But where the problem comes in is when now the politicians gang up with the different parties. You'll get maybe, for example, the incident that happened, Karanja. If you look the way things were working, it was one way that this thing wanted to bring enmity between we Christian and the Muslims.
So is it
Burning of the church,
right?
burning of the mosque. So the tension rose up because of those two things. But I may say that as religious leaders, the years I've served here in Kibera, 16 years, always we've been meeting both with our imams, bishops. Whenever we see any problem coming up, we come together, we talk, and the things comes. So what we saw yesterday, it was one way of trying to bring the division in between Christians and Muslims. And that one, we are not ready for that because we believe together.
Right.
We've been sharing our things together. We've been meeting in different
forums.
We talk, we eat together.
Schools, organization, and social
Yes,
places,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Look now, our brothers already, the time they have, it has been set for them for prayers and fasting.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, if such a things happen, don't you see, you are causing other problems to them. They will not have that time to worship God. They will not have that time to pray. Why? Because of the rift that is in between the Kibera area. All business around there, the shops were looted. The mosque were looted. Do you want to tell me that a true Christian or a true Muslim can evade a church and burn it and move away with the church instrument or mosque instrument?
That's a very good question. Yeah, so as we continue with the conversation, Sheikh Yusuf, you have talked about the metamorphosis and the pride of Kibera. I'm going to go to the question that I asked Pastor Auga. Do you agree that there is tension in Kibera?
Thank you, Victor, for this opportunity. I think we need to say it as it is, because there's no religious tension in Kibera. I am also an interfaith champion. I work at the Interreligious Council of Kenya level.
Yes.
And I've been to so many churches in Kibera here. I've been to so many church activities.
Yes.
With so many bishops, reverends, and pastors.
Yeah.
We don't have any tension. I've been with so many bishops and reverends also in the mosques. We have held activities in the mosques.
Right.
We've had exchanges
Yeah.
amongst ourselves. They've visited mosques and we have visited churches. And this has been going on for quite a very long time.
Mhm.
And no sign of tension happened there. What happened a day before yesterday was very unfortunate, but again, we can say it as it is. We only have political tension.
So there is tension and it's political.
It's political
Period.
tension.
Thank you.
But again, if we are to go deeper into analysis of what happened that day, I would rule out any religious animosity. There was nothing between people of both religions,
That's right.
the Christians and the Muslims. No Muslim in his right senses would go and attack a church.
Yeah.
And no Christian in his or her right senses would go and attack a mosque.
That's right.
After all, we have so many churches around, over 1,000 churches here in Kibera.
Yeah.
And also we have about 14 to 15 mosques here in Kibera. We have never had incidences that are directly related to religion between the mosques. Some of the mosques are even so close to the churches, but people still worship freely. What happened between the two mosques, between the mosque and the church day before yesterday? One was an act of hooliganism. We had the demonstrators, but again, I would not call them demonstrators, because even among the demonstrators, we still had hooligans who took advantage of the situation.
That's right.
Because on that very day, information that we know is that shops were looted from as early as 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
That day. Most of the shops which were closed, they were being looted from as early as 8. So by the time the skirmishes broke out at the mosque, even the demonstration had not started. Right Honorable Raila had not started demonstration because it started in Kangware much later at about 2 in the afternoon. So what it was, Victor, and this is, I'm talking before the camera,
Right.
a group of so-called demonstrators came, but what they were doing, they were looting some shops which were along Olympic. Most of those shops who sell shoes, who sell clothes were looted that day in the morning. When they reached those kiosks around the mosques, those shops around the mosque, some wanted to loot some of the mosques, some of the shops. Unfortunately, that was the time also Muslims were coming out from the 1 o'clock prayers. Then they were repressed because the Muslim also did not allow them to break into those shops which are around the mosque.
Right.
Skirmishes ensued between the two. During that skirmishes, there were a lot of misinformation. The Muslims, being few and also being coming from the mosque, for some of them, and it was very wrong, I cannot say it was right. Some of them raised alarm saying that we are attacked at the mosque. You know, that was the first alarm that came out. That the mosque is under attack, we are attacked. Obviously that whips emotions and information spread very fast, and it comes out that we have people, goons or some people who want to attack the mosque, and then a rescue came, some youth came, and emotions were up. But on the other hand also, there were demonstrators, but those ones I also call them the looters.
The looters.
They also raised alarm saying that we have some Muslim youth here at Karanja who have stopped us from moving ahead. So there was a stalemate. They could not move because they were being repressed, they were being blocked. So they also raised alarm that we are stopped by some Muslim people here. So the skirmishes escalated from those misinformation. At one point in time, because I'm saying it as it is, those who came as Muslims now in the rescue, they came so strongly, they overpowered the demonstrators. The demonstrators managed to retreat. But again, among those Muslims who came, also we had looters who went also to loot the same shops that had been looted before. You see what happened? So during the whole day, the running battle that was there, it was not about demonstration. It has nothing to do with the demonstration after that, because the looters from this side and the looters from the other side were chasing each other, who will move first, because every time the first group moves, the other group moves in to break the shops. When the second group also overpowers the other group, then they also break into the same shops that have been already looted. So this is what was going on, the ping pong that was there for the whole day. Then it's escalated when the police left, because police were there, then police left. Maybe around 6 or 7 police left and they were not there. Maybe according to police, the skirmishes could not escalate. Maybe according to them, it was something that was going to end.
Because they had been around for the
whole day,
yeah.
for the entire day.
Yeah.
So what happened at night then was all hell now. It was all hell, and they continued that fight even at night, and that's in that process is where the mosque was burned, and in retaliation also is when the church was burned. So putting it as it is, I will say that in this demonstration, we have people who are taking advantage of the situation to do every whatever other aspect in the name of politics also, but also in the name of religion. So the tension was not about religious, the tension was purely political and also about looting.
Right, so what I'm getting here, viewers, is that we have an agreement from both sides of our religious leaders that there is no religious tension. This is a political tension. And so, Pastor Huga, back to you. With what has happened, and I think 207 found you here, and we both saw what happened in Kibera, we're doing this in fear of a repeat of the same. You have mentioned that demonstration is our constitutional right. What module would you advise if you were talking to the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga? What module would you advise that he can take to ensure that what Sheikh Yusuf has talked about, we do not have a repeat of the same? I understand that he has come and visited the church, and he has talked to some of our leaders. And so we are not certain what has come out of it. But if you were to talk to the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, what module would you advise that we take in Kibera, even if we are doing demonstration, to ensure that it is peaceful and it does not affect anyone?
Thank you, my brother Victor. Just as you said, from the year 2007, what happened in Kibera, it really costed the residents of Kibera.
Right.
1, lives; 2, businesses, and even properties were taken away. And the people of Kibera have been nursing those injuries since that time.
Yes.
Now, to our dear opposition leader, Honorable Raila Odinga, the only thing that we need, let demonstration be a peaceful one. Because from what Sheikh has just shared with us, it was between 2 groups.
Right.
One group demanding that they have been stopped not to move or to continue with the demonstration. And then the other group is trying to protect their properties. What I may say, that in order for us to make Kibera to be better, we need to calm down, let us reason together.
Right.
I don't see a need of demonstrators taking advantage of demonstration to loot shops. Even they behaved in a very funny way, because we had others with the rungus, others with the pangas, others with those things, and many people suffered. We have some people who broke their legs. We have some others who are in the hospital.
We lost lives.
And they were lost lives.
Yes.
Yesterday I was told one of our brother, he lost life. A Muslim.
Yes.
Is it one? Or is it one?
We are talking of one right now.
Okay.
Right now, because I think he was, the send-off was yesterday.
But their number is critical.
Yes, there are quite a number.
And there is quite a number
Yes.
who are critical.
With panga cards and
And the panga cards,
Yeah.
actually. And keep in mind, as we are talking now, we don't know the other side, how many people were injured.
Right.
Yeah. How many people lost their lives? So the only thing that I may talk to our Honorable Raila Odinga, let's make the demonstration to be a peaceful one. Let him talk to our demonstrators and tell them, let us not take advantage of our constitutional right to violate the law.
So I understand that Raila Amolo Odinga is giving directives on demonstration around the entire Nairobi.
Yes.
And across Nairobi. So it would be very difficult to say that Raila should coordinate demonstration from Kibera Kawangware. So
What I'm saying,
Yes.
you know what happened? Keep in mind, it began in the morning,
right,
and the Honorable Raila Odinga had not come out.
right,
Okay, it began in the morning. Okay, Raila came. It was around 2 p.m. That's when he began the demonstration from Kawangware.
right.
And already those mayhem had already happened down here. So it means that some of our young men, and I'm speaking this because I minister with the youth ministry in Kibera.
Right.
Most of our young men, they are being used in a way that is not right.
By who?
You know, the intention they have
Right, yeah.
is not right. What I'm saying, if it could be a peaceful demonstration, we are seeing demonstration happening in Israel, we are seeing in other countries. We don't see this kind of looting.
Right.
Why we in Kenya, we take advantage to loot, to kill, to destroy?
Good question. So Sheikh Yusuf,
Yes.
what you had mentioned to me as street talk that I'm trying to avoid, but just to get clarity, because a young person from Kibera who saw what happened in 2007, sober mind, Christian or Muslim, would not do what had happened, which was very unfortunate that it happened. Do you, because a lot of people were saying from morning that the people who are doing the looting and the stealing and the people who are really provoking violence are faces that are not from Kibera. Do you have a feeling, because we had cases of, for example, Northlands
Yes.
and
East Africa.
Spectra,
Yes.
yes. Do you have a feeling that what has happened in Kibera was politically articulated to, and this is somebody who had studied what it would take to provoke violence in Kibera and sent people from outside Kibera to do what was done?
Yes, Victor. The young people in Kibera, and not only in Kibera, I can say across Kenya, they're both angry and hungry. Any slight opportunity that they get, they can use, but it will be, the damage will be so devastating. It just needed a mention of the day that on this specific day we are going to have a demonstration. That's
Right.
all. It just needed that to trigger a program in the minds of these young people.
Right.
2007 we were here, and the kind of sounds that were coming out while these young people were in the streets are the same sounds that we are hearing now.
Yeah.
Because then we could hear words like shopping.
Yeah, shopping.
You
That's
know,
right.
in 2007, the word shopping was so much famous.
Yes.
And any other shop around would be broken into, you know, because they call it shopping. Right now we have the Unga, it's the narrative of Unga that is going on. But again, we have seen that the demonstration has turned out to be an opportunity, because on that day, it's like what is happening now shops or areas are marked. Specifically on this day, on a Monday or on a Thursday, we want to raid the toy market, for example.
Right.
You see. Even toy market, there was an attempt day before yesterday in that market, but thank God, because now they have secured their heavy doors and that. But nevertheless, still some of the shops were burnt down at the toy market. So it is just triggered by the announcement of the day. It doesn't need any organization now, because what I think the demonstration